So let's talk about some more properties of Motherese, that speech that adults seem to naturally use when around small children. So very often, the speech is repetitious. We say a lot of the same things like milk. You want some milk? Oh, how about some milk, honey? Would you like some milk? Like, I totally say this to my toddler daughter. This is absolutely something that happens, right? So the speech is very repetitious, and that can be helpful, right? Because it's easier to remember things that are repeated when you have a short attention span, right? And also, adults will often expand children's utterances. So if, for example, if the child says milk, we might reply, you want some milk? Would you like some milk? Oh, let's get the milk, right? To sort of model for them how to say the full thing that they intend, right? How to convey the meaning they want by demonstrating it, right? Now, another nice property is that it turns out, again, this is not something that we consciously are aware of, but it turns out that child-directed speech seems to be tuned the level of linguistic complexity that the child can handle, when in terms of the vocabulary that they know, the syntax, the way they combine words and word forms together, the function words like the or this that they are aware of. Child-directed speech, Motherese seems to naturally just kind of zero in on that until around age 5. And maybe that's because in some sense the caretakers, the adults, are tuned into what's easiest for the child to absorb, because certainly it's been demonstrated that it's easiest to absorb information if that information is neither too simple and therefore boring, and also not too complex and therefore too hard to even consider, right? So if you hit that sweet spot, that sort of just right spot, learning goes much better than it otherwise would. And in fact, the better tuned the child-directed speech is to the child's level of linguistic complexity that they can handle, to that sweet spot, it turns out the better the child's linguistic development turns out to be, right? So this is a really nice property of Motherese that, it's really, you couldn't possibly consciously, or I guess you could try, but it would be very hard to consciously control this, and yet it's something that adults seem to tune into when they're familiar with the child. What is that sweet spot of linguistic complexity that allows the child to absorb the information the best?